To open up your third eye and unlock your deepest wishes, you first have to draw this symbol on your hand. Now draw a line going from the symbol all the way to the tip of your index finger. Now dip your finger in a bowl of water and place the finger on your forehead. Blink fast for 3 seconds and your third eye will now open up. You can now get your wish, but be careful as some can't handle it when they see through the third eye. Are you brave enough to try this? Then heart this video and follow my account.
Это что такое, ребят?
There is no going back after watching this. What if I told you that you are not a human being but an ancient being called a spiritum? Spiritums are beings that have come from the 4th dimension into the 3rd dimension, and by doing this you have trapped yourself in a human body. You're a very powerful being capable of incredible real-life magic. There are few people on Earth who have discovered this truth and live every day being able to use their magic powers. Once you have unlocked your abilities, you can control the world around you and can even make anyone you want fall in love with you. Wanna unlock your abilities? Then heart this video and follow my account.
This is my life now.
The fuck, bro? Get the fuck out. Go.
Don't ever call this phone number. If you ever call this phone number, you will hear a strange man repeating 1, 3, and 7 in a creepy voice. Shortly after he has repeated them a few times, you will hear a loud siren followed by a quiet whisper of your first name. There will be a brief silence after he has said your name. Soon after, you will hear the same man saying, "We have connected." The phone will now hang up. It is said that the sequence of numbers and the loud noise at the end is designed to hypnotize the person on the phone. After this phone call, you will hear the numbers 1, 3, and 7 at random times for the next 3 days. Are you brave enough to try this? Like this video and follow my account for more creepy numbers.
This is some weird scurry shit.
Oh, hell no, you guys have to see this. What the heck is that? That looks... Oh, hell no.
I'm not down for that.
And I blame... Okay, I'm free. Oh my god. Did you see that? Oh my god!
To us, so it's not like bad.
What it is.
Bit. And
What? Oh my god.
you'll have doors opening and closing, drawers opening. A little blow on the back of my head.
Guys, I'm literally freaking out. It's 3 a.m. and I just got a notification from myself.
Watching you makes me feel good. Good night. Have a good sleep.
I don't know what the heck to do. Oh my god. I'm literally shaking.
You should never attempt this for 2 reasons. 1, if you pull snake's shed off prematurely, you can end up hurting it. I'm not really pulling on it as much as I'm letting the snake slide out of my hand. 2, this snake is a black mamba, and if I was causing the snake any pain or if it wasn't okay with what I was doing, it would end me quicker than you could say GameStop to the moon. Black mambas are not the most venomous snake in the world, but they are one of the fastest traveling venomous snakes in the world. So I'm not going to reach my hand in there. I lost my grip, so I'm just going to let her finish this up on her own now, but she got a nice start. I was soaking her in the tub below her, and she pooped and started the shedding process, so on her way back in, I just decided to help her out a little bit. But again, never attempt to pull off your snake shed prematurely.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know, part 10. It has been said that in some cases, if you hear ringing in your ear, it could be signs of a dead family member trying to contact you. Hey, Grandma. Many statistics have shown that blue-eyed people are more likely to suffer from alcoholism and depression than anyone else. You've got to be kidding me. There have been some cases reported of doctors selling their patients' blood on the dark web. Number one, why would a doctor need to make any more extra money? Number two, why are you selling a patient's blood on the dark web? One time, a lady found toenails in her chicken nuggets at McDonald's. There's a reason I don't eat McDonald's. 4 actors from The Poltergeist died shortly after the filming of the movie because they thought there was a hanging curse over the movie that caused them to die.
If you get scared easily, don't watch the last one. First, we have the Grand Canyon Grim Reaper. This photo surfaced on Reddit in 2016. It shows his uncle overlooking the Grand Canyon. They didn't realize till after the photo was developed that there's a tall dark figure standing right behind him. Next up, we have the Babushka Lady. She is one of the mysteries surrounding President JFK's assassination. Eyewitnesses state that she filmed the entire thing from a movie camera. Despite countless efforts by the FBI, she was never captured and to this day has never been identified. Next, we have the SS Watertown Haunting. In 1924, 2 crew members died mysteriously while cleaning the cargo tank. Since the ship was nowhere near land, the bodies were buried at sea. After the burial, people started noticing faces in the water.
You're about to hear one of the most disturbing stories on the internet. Kiplin Kinkel was a troubled boy who was always frustrated and anxious in school. By the 8th grade, he was hiding guns in his bedroom, shoplifting, and was caught ordering books on how to make bombs. On May 20th, 1998, in Springfield, Oregon, he was arrested and expelled from school when they found a stolen gun inside his locker. When he returned home after the interrogation, he pulled a gun out of his collection and killed both of his parents. Then he simply ate dinner and just went to bed like nothing happened. The next morning is where things get ridiculous. He brought his entire gun collection to his school and opened up fire, shooting 27 students.
These are things that you do not want to know. You have been warned. Most people think ladybugs are cute, but after this fact, you are not going to think that anymore. Ladybugs lay a ton of eggs, and some of those eggs they use as a snack. So what I'm trying to say is basically ladybugs will sometimes eat their babies. It's very tiny, but the chances of your roller coaster breaking mid-ride is 1 in 750 million. But just know it has happened to other people before. The chances are never 0. You should probably know this, but spiders can actually survive in space. So if you don't like spiders now, there's more of a reason why not to like them. And for the last one, if you're not following me, this will be in your room tonight.
Yo, what's up? Here's some scary facts about our world that you probably didn't want to know, part 6. Thinking too much can actually kill you. So, us going to school, and college, high school, middle school even, is actually slowly killing us. If you sit in an old chair, couch, or other piece of furniture, you are more likely to get possessed than if you were to sit in a modern day one. Why? Because just like an Annabelle doll, a lot of furniture has been involved in paranormal and demonic rituals, and well, that puts you at a higher risk to be possessed. There's a river in China called the Yellow River that's not just polluted by trash. In fact, it's polluted with over 10,000 dead bodies. It is estimated that over 65% of children have an imaginary friend that is dead and has been dead for years.
Scary Facts Part 2. Did you know that over 80 million bacteria can be transferred with one kiss? There are over 200 dead bodies at the top of Mount Everest. There's a 1 in 3 chance the police will never identify your killer. Scary Facts Part 1. There's over 250,000 deaths per year due to medical error. If the sun blows up right now, you wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes. Over 20% of children report hearing voices in their head. Here are 4 things you're doing that could kill you. Number 1, you skip breakfast all the time. Believe it or not, but this harms your weight, blood sugar levels, and your mental health. Number 2, biting your nails. Stop doing this right now. Your nails are a breeding ground for bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli. Number 3, if you snack while you're on your phone or watching TV, this can cause chronic overeating, heart problems, and diabetes. Number 4, if you sleep with the light on, studies show that doing this can cause anxiety, depression, and obesity, so sleep in the dark, guys. Now comment which one you do.
If you see a banana like this, burn it. A 29-year-old woman in the UK bought a bunch of bananas, and one of them looked just like this. She thought it was nothing. But then, just as she was peeling the banana, thousands of baby spiders started pouring out all over her hands and on her table. Not only was it just thousands of spiders, but turns out these were Brazilian wandering spiders, which is one of the most poisonous spiders on the entire planet. You could say that bananas have lost their appeal.
Wait, oh my god, so zombies are literally real and you can become one. There's a syndrome called walking corpse syndrome. It's a neuropsychiatric disorder in which a person believes they are dead or missing a soul and their brain acts like it. A man was diagnosed after a fatal motorcycle crash. He survived, but he didn't think he did. Since the conditions are so rare, it's very difficult to pinpoint the causes and any potential cures. So if anyone becomes a zombie, very slim chance you can return back to normal. What would you do?
Bone-chilling facts you wish you never knew, part 9. You feel like falling when sleeping because your heart rate drops nearly to 0 and your brain sends an electric shock throughout your body to make sure that you are still alive. It's actually pretty easy to create false memories. Your mind can make up something that never happened or didn't happen how you remember. At any moment, a nearby star could become a gamma-ray burster, and a jet of radiation could hit Earth and vaporize us immediately, and it's impossible to see it coming.
Warning. This story can cause nightmares. So there is a boy who suffered from terrible bad dreams. He told his parents that if he fell asleep, the thing in his dreams was gonna get him. He tried staying awake for as long as he could, until one night, he finally fell asleep. His parents heard screams coming from his room. By the time they got there, it was too late. The little boy died in the middle of his nightmare. Scary Facts Part 3. If you were to die in your house cat would try to eat you. At least one person in their lifetime will experience bed bugs. 20% of coffee mugs have traces of fecal matter.
Where's the catnip?
Weirdest Kids Toys Ever, Part 36. Drippy the Runny-Nosed Kid. I think we all knew one of those growing up. Released in Japan in 1967 by the Parksmith Corporation. You could fill him up with goo, press his stomach, and it would come out of his nose. They also made a girl version to prove that both sexes can be equally disgusting. That was actually part of the advertisement. A weird and gross toy, but worth so much money if you have one.
Bueno, aquí les presentamos a la muñeca de Bessie que se la regalaron sus 15 años. No manches, mira.
Here are some of the most dangerous toys that were ever made for kids. First, we have Barbie and Tanner, which came out in 2007. Now, the puppy was supposed to eat and dispose of his food, so he literally pooped it out. And the magnet inside of him would often come loose, and toddlers would swallow it and literally have intestinal blockage. Then we had Clackers, which came out in the 70s, and they were taken off just a decade later for a major safety hazard. The acrylic balls would often hit people in the face, or they would break and go into people's eyes. Then we have Rollerblade Barbie, which came out in the 90s, and she literally had this like cigarette lighter device in her rollerblades that would literally shoot out sparks. And obviously being flammable was a major health hazard. Then we have the Hannah Montana Pop Star card game. Apparently this ended up having a crazy amount of toxic lead in it. And then we have the Burger King Pokemon balls from 1999. So many kids were suffocating using these because they would just put them over their mouths and not be able to get them off, which is horrible. And guys, there's so many more I could talk about, so maybe I'll do a part 2, I don't know.
Most dangerous toys of all time. This is a toothpick crossbow. It's very popular in other countries, but it's incredibly dangerous. This thing has enough power to pierce through clothes and skin. Tons of schools in China had to ban these because kids were getting into crossbow fights in class. And these things can literally pierce someone's eyeball.
Scariest toys of all time, part 1. This is Sir Growls-a-Lot. He looks like a nice teddy bear, and tons of people have bought him for their kids. But believe it or not, this teddy bear has made hundreds of children cry. Although innocent looking at first, when you give him a hug, this happens.
I hate this one, but everybody's been asking for this one, so I'll just do it. Another one of the reasons why I hate dolls is because of this video. So in Mexico, this video surfaced, and like the comment says, it is basically a video of a woman walking her doll. The weird part about this doll is that it will only walk with the woman and nobody else. Here's the clip.
Ah, Rosita. Es muy buena gente, Rosita. Mira, mira. Ay, cabrón. Se hace dura, pienso, y ahí va.
If you have one of these toys in your house, you need to remove it, and remove it now. A young teenage boy was in his little brother's room late one night, and as his little brother watched a movie, the young teenage boy played with the animated LED spinner and became hypnotized by it. It's said that he looked into this thing for more than 2 hours straight before putting it down and going to bed. But in the middle of the night, that young teenager headed down to the family's garage and grabbed the sledgehammer. As he walked back through the house, he bludgeoned his little brother and both of his parents to death as they slept, and then just took himself to bed. The next morning when he woke, he was horrified to find his whole family had been slaughtered as they slept. He quickly ran out of the house and waited for police, but it would be after a lengthy police interview that the boy would realise all of a sudden that he was the one that murdered his family. I killed them. I killed them all.
This might be the scariest toy of all time. This is called an evil stick. It was sold at dollar stores everywhere, but the picture behind this black thing is absolutely terrifying. It appeared out of nowhere, traumatized kids for a few months, and disappeared without a trace. Behind the black thing is a picture of a demonic girl hurting herself. It's shocking to see for everybody, but for kids this would be horrific. I blurred out the most graphic part. This picture was hidden in a children's toy.
I'm Haley, the ghost girl, and that doll behind me is Annabelle, one of the world's most haunted dolls. In my last TikTok, I shared with you guys that after being blessed, I had the chance to meet her. But a lot of you were commenting saying that that doll looked nothing like the doll in the Annabelle movie. But don't worry, I got to meet her too. And then she showed up at my house. Yep, the actual doll from the Annabelle movie showed up at my doorstep. They even gave me gloves so that I didn't have to touch her. Creepy. After a few spirit box sessions and electronic malfunctions while in her presence, she was returned, but man, was that cool. Full video on my YouTube channel.
Most dangerous toys of all time, part 36. This is a Gilbert's glass blowing kit. It was released in the 1950s, and many kids bought this toy or got it as a gift. And if it isn't obvious enough already, this was incredibly dangerous. This toy allowed kids to heat up glass to 1000 degrees Fahrenheit, and then they were able to mold it into figurines or glass containers. Thousands were severely burned because of this toy.
Weirdest Kids Toys Ever, Part 30. Super Elastic Bubble Plastic. Released in 1970 by Whammo Toys. This one is cool, weird, and extremely dangerous. Pretty much just a glorified balloon that you blew from a cocaine straw. It contained polyvinyl acetate and benzene. Dangerous to inhale and increased your risk of cancer. These were discontinued in the 80s, but similar products are still available today.
Creepiest toys of all time. The doll you're about to see was found in an antique store. And for the most part, it seems like a pretty normal doll, except for one thing. The frickin' expression on her face. I'm not sure why they decided to make her look like this, but it freaks me out. Would you want this toy?
This is a really creepy story about a haunted doll named Okiku. In 1918 in Japan, a boy bought his 2-year-old sister this doll. This doll became the little girl's best friend. She would take her everywhere and sleep with her every night. But then something really sad happened. One year, the little girl tragically passed away from the yellow fever. They didn't let the family bury the little doll with the girl, so instead they left it in a shrine in memory of their daughter. And they named her Okiku after the little girl, but that's when weird things started to happen. The traditional shoulder-length hair on the little doll started to grow, just like how normal hair would, and it even started to look a little damaged and brittle near the ends. Okiku is now secured in a clear box at the Menenji temple. A priest trimmed off a little piece of her hair and sent it to a lab that proved that it is child human growing hair that grows on her hair each year. And now her mouth is starting to open. When tourists look inside of her mouth, they could see something glowing.
Every night, the doll would sit and watch him sleep from the corner of the room. His mum had given him the gift from one of her friends that always gave them toys. But Danny knew from the moment that he saw it that it was pure evil. It started with him noticing the doll's hands in different positions and quickly escalated to him finding the doll sitting on the end of his bed at night. But it was a few months later when Danny woke to the doll smothering his face as he slept. He quickly grabbed it and threw it up against the wall. As it slid down, the doll stood up and just ran out of the room. Danny quickly slammed the door and locked it. He sat in fear in his room looking at the door all night long, but the doll never came back. Next morning when light filled his room, Danny carefully walked down the hallway. He searched each room for the doll when he finally got to his parents' bedroom, and he found both of his parents murdered in their beds and the doll sitting on the end of their bed, smiling. He ran out of the house that morning, and no one believed him about the doll, because when they searched the house, they never found it.
Creepiest Toys of All Time, Part 13. This is the Jolly Chimp. It was sold between 1950 and 1970. And yes, this was an actual toy. You would either put batteries in it or wind it up, and the toy would smash the cymbals and show its teeth. This toy was very popular and sold everywhere. But you're about to see some footage of this toy in action. And you tell me, does this frighten you?
Scariest toys in the world, part 1. And today we're looking at Robert the Doll. Not creepy at all, right? Robert the Doll is a toy that is currently housed in Key West, Florida, but he's got quite the history. So obviously this doll is pretty creepy, I mean just looking at it. But it's even crazier to realize that Robert the Doll is actually wearing his deceased owner's clothes. I mean, even his dog's kind of creepy. Okay, this is supposedly the first owner of the doll, but here's what's really weird, is that Robert the Doll is not actually a doll. He was a mannequin that got taken from a store. Now this is little Gene Otto. He had the doll at some point. As you can see, those are the clothes that are currently on the doll. And the little boy loved the doll so much that he actually kept him in the attic like it was his own bedroom. And passerbys would look up and see the doll looking at them from out the window. Not creepy. Eventually, Robert the Doll would end up in a museum for ghosts. And supposedly during his lifespan as a toy, he's been responsible for broken bones and causing car accidents. So like, should I get it for my kid or not?
Here are some of the creepiest kids' gifts that will probably traumatize them. Before I get started, as you all know, I hate my videos getting pulled down, so I've done an adult version on my Instagram. You can check it out right now, and it includes this guy behind me. Let's get to the kids' version. First up, we have this guy. I mean, really, guys? Who's giving this to their kids? Or what about this one? I mean, this one looks like 140 years old, but it's brand new. Or you could give them a creepy Jack in the Box, and if that one doesn't scare the shit out of your kids, what about this guy? I mean, you could just sit him in the corner of the room and listen to him say, "Hey, come and play with me." Or what about something that looks like it's on wheels, that maybe ate you? Because that's not going to traumatize your kids, is it? And then you have my favorite of all. Come and play with me.